Okay, we are now live.
Good afternoon. We're going to resume our August 27th meeting of the Downtown Development Authority. Heather, could you take the roll call, please?
Sure. Peter Dewan,
Present.
Jim Croom,
Present.
Mike Kruger,
Here.
George Lahanas. George Lahanas. Mayor Stevens.
Here.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Greg
Okay.
Baldwin,
Yes, here.
Kristen Clark. Kristen Clark. Here. Luke Hackney.
Present.
I'm here. Ruben Levinson. And Jeff Smith.
Here.
Thank you. We left off, sorry for the technical difficulties. We were on item 2.1. Heather, you had just completed the overview of the June 2020 Treasurer's Report, and we were moving on to item 2.2, the July 2020 Treasurer's Report.
Yes. There we go. Thank you, Adam. So for the July report, can everybody see it on the screen okay?
Yes.
July report, not a whole lot of activity. We did receive our revenue from our TIF 1, TIF 2, and our DDA millage that was posted as of July 1st. There were some charges for the wages and salaries of the employees who did the cleanup on the Albert Avenue outdoor dining area. I want to point out just a couple of things. Under the project development fund, you'll see that there was a credit actually applied, and this is a carryover from the funds that we received from Harbor Bay to purchase PS, refuse containers, and some bike loops. And so those funds were carried over, which actually showed a credit in the amount of $21,020. There was also a business that ended up closing and returned their $2,500 check to the DDA for their for the grant that they received, and that showed up as a credit. The other items that show up are just business as usual tickler transfers that we do each month.
Thank you. Are there any questions of board members for staff? Hearing none, we'll move on to written communications. Members will take note in our agenda packet. We have emails from Alice Drager, Ralph Monsma. We also have the referral letters of previous actions the DDA had taken and our referral letters to council. At this time, I would direct staff to allow communications from the audience. If the public wishes to address the DDA, you will be placed in a queue and called in a chronological order. And is that Adam will be helping with that?
It'll be Heather.
Yep.
Or Heather, I'm sorry.
Adam, I am not able to see the participants. Hold on, let me see. Here we go. Okay. Caller ending in the last three digits, 913. You'll be unmuted and you're allowed to speak for 5 minutes. If you choose not to speak, you can just say pass. Caller ending in 913, you are now unmuted.
Welcome.
Caller ending in 913, would you like to speak?
You might have to hit *6, caller, on your phone, or just hit the unmute button to unmute yourself. Because we unmute you and then you also, yeah, there you go.
Is that better? I'm past. I'm
Yep.
waiting for a different agenda item.
Okay, thank you. Caller ending the last three digits of 963. You will be unmuted and you have 5 minutes to speak. Caller 963, you are now unmuted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Alice Traeger. I'm on my way to the beach, so I apologize if it's a crappy connection. Just a couple quick things. I wanted to point you all to the mayor's public service announcement, which is turning out to be very popular with our readers with regard to mask wearing. Secondly, you have before you today SUP question on Walgreens. I just wanted to note that the city council is about to take up reform of the code, which is supposed to do every 10 years according to the city charter, and this is one of those things you might want to ask them to revisit. As you may recall, we've had a series of these come before us where they're either completely uncontroversial or done after the fact. There was originally the marathon in Brookfield Plaza that applied after the fact, then Target applied after the fact. Walgreens is applying before the fact, but Campbell's is now selling beer and wine, much to my delight, but has not applied apparently for an SUP. It seems like these are uncontroversial. The city council never chooses to pull them. It seems like one of those things we should just let the state liquor control of these. If the DDA or the city council wanted to weigh in on the issue, they could certainly do so through the letter to the Liquor Control Commission. But this doesn't seem like something that's worth holding up businesses, costing them money, costing time among volunteer boards and commissions and that kind of thing. So I hope in addition to considering the Walgreens item today, you'll consider the more global issue of whether or not it's time to just get rid of this part of the code. I'm not saying that's the same thing for restaurants and bars, although I think that's worth having a discussion about as well with regard to letting the Liquor Control Commission handle these things. Finally, I probably won't be able to be on the phone for the DRA meeting, and so I just had a question about whether or not we're made progress on hiring an independent financial advisor, since we're going to be dealing with the bond. I will be listening to the meetings later, but I'm hoping that during the DRA meeting you could address that question of whether or not we've made progress on hiring an independent financial advisor. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. You can turn me off, Heather.
Thank you. Are there additional callers, Heather?
That is it.
Okay, we will close the public comment portion of our meeting. Are there any communications from staff?
Yes, Chair, just a few updates. The Abbott received a temporary certificate of occupancy on Monday. They're going to continue with a staggered move-in throughout this week and next. MSU, FCU goes to council for consideration on September 22nd. And I just want to provide a few updates on the business support, the outreach that, we're currently undergoing. Currently, we're in data collection mode. We're collecting information on the status of businesses, whether they're temporarily closed, permanently closed, their hours of operations, updating our contact list, and just trying to understand what changes in operations that they've undergone since COVID-19 hit in March. In addition, we're also surveying downtown business owners on just try to get understanding how we can best communicate with them, and then the impacts of some of the programs that we've implemented as a city, and their attitudes and thoughts on how beneficial that's been to their business or downtown businesses as a whole. I do want to note Luke and Kristen both have been a tremendous help in our surveying efforts. Prior to connecting with them and them volunteering to help and us asking for their help, we had 0 survey responses. And this morning when I checked, I believe we're in the mid-20s just since last week. I mean, that's a significant improvement. We had that survey out for weeks with 0 responses. Within a week, we're at mid-20s. So we're going to continue to plug away to solicit more responses so that moving forward, we can really help ensure that we propose and implement the most meaningful programs possible to help our businesses downtown. So I just want to thank you both, Luke and Kristen, for your help on that. Happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you, Kristen and Luke, for your hard work in that area. Are there any other comments from staff? Seeing none, we'll move on to our business agenda item 6.1, site plan and special use permit and application from Walgreens. Adam?
Yeah, let me share. Mr. Haywood, are you on?
Sure am. Yep, I can address this. Give me just 1 second. So this is a special use permit for Walgreens at 100 West Grand River. They propose to occupy the kind of the eastern half of the first floor retail space in the Abbott building on the northwest corner at Abbott and Grand River. They will take up approximately 7,600 square feet for their retail space. Approximately 10% of their floor area would be devoted to alcohol sales. Their hours of operation are proposed to be between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. The Planning Commission held a public hearing on August 12th and then took action on this proposal last night and made a recommendation or passed a recommendation to City Council to approve the request. With that, I would take any questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Haywood from board members? Hearing none, I will offer a motion to approve the site plan and special use permit and ask for a second.
Second.
It's been seconded by Mayor Stevens. Can we take a roll call vote, please? Heather?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry about that. Dewan,
Yes.
Croom,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Mahanas,
Yes.
Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Greg Mulline,
Yes.
Kristen Clark,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
and Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. We will move on to the next item on our agenda, the property management agreement with Quasar. Item 6.2, Heather?
Yeah. So included in your packet is a copy of the property management agreement with Quasar. They're the property managers for 328, 334, 340, and 344 Evergreen. This is the same agreement that we entered into with them last year with just a few modifications. As you recall, we will not be renting the property at 334 Evergreen. So that will change as far as the property management of that. It will be just the lawn mowing, the snow removal, winterizing the property, picking up trash, and all those types of things that take place. And then the other properties, 328, 340, and 344, those are all currently leased, and they will continue to manage those as they have in the past. With their current contract that we have with them, they receive 10% of the collected rent each month as part of their management fee. But with the removal of 334 Evergreen, they've requested just a flat rate of $1,000 a month for their management services. So, and that would be a reduction of $130 per month approximately than what we have right now. So staff has recommended that we enter into this agreement. It would be for a 1-year term. It still has a clause that either party can terminate with a 30-day written notice.
Thank you, Heather. Are there any questions for Heather with regard to the property management agreement? Hearing none, I'll offer a motion to approve the agreement as presented and ask for a second.
Hackney.
It's been supported by Luke. Again, let's do a roll call vote. Heather, please.
Dewan,
Yes.
Croom,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Mahanas,
Yes.
Stevens, Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Mulline,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
and Smith.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. The agreement motion passes. We'll move on to the next project or property management agreement 314 Evergreen, item 6.3 for an environmental site assessment.
Yep.
Is that Heather?
Yep. So as you recall, we had received a grant through the Lansing Regional Brownfield Coalition for a phase 1 environmental site assessment for 314, 344 Evergreen. That was completed. Our cost of was a $2,700 contract with Tritera. The DDA was responsible for 10%, which was $270. That has been completed. We are eligible to have a phase 2 completed under the same terms through this grant. The contract amount would be $26,700 for a phase 2. And the DDA would be responsible for 10% of that contract amount in the amount of $2,270. The funds would be allocated from the project development to be determined project line item budget.
Heather, I have a question. I read through the Tritera's proposal. What additional environmental work will be done on this site prior to potential development outside of what Tritera is providing?
Well, we would do the phase 1 and phase 2. And it would be whoever the party is that ends up with these properties. It would be they would use this information when addressing redevelopment of those sites. So there may be additional work that they would need to do, but the phase 1 and phase 2 sets the groundwork for what they know that they have to adhere to as far as remediation if it's necessary, removing soil that's been contaminated, those types of things. So that would be the developer. So this is just the information that we can provide as part of that redeveloping these projects.
Has there been environmental assessments done previously that the city has these analyses?
No, we have not.
Okay.
We've
Are
done
there any?
other properties, like for 303 Abbott, we've done, phase 1 and phase 2, but when we own those properties, but not for these properties.
Okay. Are there any questions of board members for staff? Hearing none, I will offer a motion to approve the request for phase 2 environmental assessment and ask for a second.
Luke Hackney, support.
Been supported by Luke. Any further discussion?
Real quick discussion.
Yes.
Are the environmental site assessments going through the EPA grant funding? I know LEAP has quite a large pool of funding to help cover a lot of those costs. Are some of those being met with that funding?
Right, so this is we received a grant through LEAP, we had applied.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we can go ahead and take a roll call vote on the motion that's been offered by myself and supported by Luke Hackney.
Dewan,
Yes.
Croom,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Bahamas,
Yes.
Stevens, Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Ballline,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Great. It passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to item 6.5 on our agenda, the 500 block refuse room door extensions. Is that you, Heather?
We did jump over item 6.2, or excuse me, 6.3, the 314 Evergreen Property Management Agreement. So if we
Oh, I'm
could,
sorry.
that's okay. If we could just go, do you mind me jumping in right here?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Let's
so-
move back to item 6.3.
So 314 Evergreen Property Management Agreement. This is with Croom Management. We are currently working with them to update their management agreement. They've had some matters come up within their business, and so they asked that we postpone action on their management agreement until next month. So what we've done is we've just prepared an agreement to extend their current property management agreement as is for 1 month, and it'll expire on September 30th, 2020.
Okay, Heather, I'm sorry that I inadvertently passed over that. So this will remain on our business agenda and we'll address it at next month's DDA meeting.
Well, we'll take action on the 1 month extension. This is what this item is, because their current
Okay.
expires August 31st. And then there'll be a new business item for their actual property management contract for the upcoming year on the September agenda.
Great, thank you. I will make a motion to extend the 1 month extension of the present property management agreement and ask for a second.
Second.
Been seconded by Greg Ballline. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that extension is approved unanimously. Now, Heather, if we could go to item 6.5, the 500 block refuse room door extensions.
Adam, if you could open that agenda item report for me and scroll down, and you could click on the first attachment there. Thank you.
Welcome.
So we have this refuse room in the 500 block. It's been really great for all the businesses who use this and the residents. An issue we've had over the past couple of years are use of it coming up, and then instead of using their key fob to open the door, there's enough of a gap at the top of those doors that they throw their trash over the top, and it breaks open and creates a mess in the room. And so we're having Waste Management come out and clean that. And so we've been working with a couple different companies to come up with a design of just fabricate some metal that would go on top of those doors to prevent that, but would also still allow the airflow properly through that refuse room. And so, Adam, you can go back to the main screen now if you'd like for this item. So we received 3 different proposals, one from H&H Welding, one from Banish Welding, and one from Capital Steel. After reviewing the proposals and the actual design and how it would be installed, staff is actually recommending that we go with Banish Welding, and the contract amount is $1,956. And again, this would be paid out of our repairs and maintenance budget. And as you recall, we do receive monthly lease payments from Waste Management. And so these costs would be offset by the revenue we receive through those lease payments to that room.
Thank you, Heather. Are there any questions with regard to what's been proposed by staff? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the staff's recommendation to approve the quote from Banish Welding in the amount of $1,956 and ask for a second.
Second.
It's been seconded by Greg Ballline. If we could take a roll call vote?
Yes. Dewan,
Yes.
Croom,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Mahanis,
Yes.
Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Ballline,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hackney, is he still on the call?
Yes.
I'm not
He's
certain.
He's just
on the
losing
call.
audio.
It looks like he said yes, but couldn't hear him.
Okay,
With a thumbs up as well.
All right, and Smith.
Yes.
All right.
great. Thank you. Let's move on to item 6.6, the concessionaire license application from Monday's Food Truck LLC. And Heather?
Yes. So we received an application for a food truck. from Monday Street Food. The intent is to serve tacos, burgers, hot dogs, and beverages. There is a menu that is attached. The proposed hours of operation are Wednesday through Saturday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. And they are proposing to have their food truck located at the southwest corner of Albert and Division Street. As you know, this is only the three locations designated as part of our concessionaires program where food trucks are allowed. So this is along the area of the colorful parking lot. We did notify all the businesses by through email and through we mailed letters to each of the businesses also within 500 feet, letting them know of this food truck application as required under the guidelines. And we received 2 responses back. One from Campus Corner, it's Marilyn Schrager, and an email from Roy Staper, who had some additional questions about the business side and the experience of the owner who is doing this food truck.
Thank you, Heather. Are there questions of board members to staff? Heather, I have a question. Is Mr. Saper still awaiting some additional material from the city?
No, I answered all of his questions at that with the last exchange, and he replied back. And that is good, yes.
And I noted both the comments from Mr. Saper and also from Ms. Schrager. Do you know how long this prospective applicant has been offering a food concession in other locations?
Yes.
How long have you done this?
This is his first venture. He is on the line, and he can answer some questions.
Okay.
So, let me go back. You wanna? Yes, thank you. Hello, Chris. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. So the board members
Great.
have some questions for you. So you've been unmuted, okay?
Thanks.
Hello, Chris. My name is Peter Dewan. I wanted to just get a sense of what your experience has been in offering food concessions in other areas and what your experience has been.
This is our first food truck. I have been involved in restaurant operations and construction almost full time in my career, but I would happily say that I got my start at the Spartan Grill in East Wilson Hall. In terms of this truck, this is the first truck that we've done without partners. My last one, I built a kiosk in Manhattan and literally opened it about a month before the entire city went on lockdown. So we haven't really had a chance to see how that one went.
Okay. Thank you. Are there questions, board members, for the applicant? Okay. Chris, thank you for the background. Heather, I guess you could go ahead and close the comment section and then ask for what the board's pleasure is with regard to this item. Does anyone wish to make a motion?
Sure. I'll go ahead, Luke Hackney. I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
It's been moved by Luke, supported by Mayor Stevens. Discussion? I know we've gone back and forth with regard to food trucks in the downtown. Personally, I'm inclined not to wish to support taking business away from our existing brick and mortar businesses. That's just my own personal opinion, but I looked at the menu. It looks like a great menu that they're providing. I know there's differences of opinion from board members, but I'm certainly willing to, share my opinion and listen to others.
Luke,
Go ahead, Luke.
Jeff, I'm sorry, Luke, and then Jeff, please.
Just because I made the motion. I mean, this has been something that we've talked about and gone back and forth a lot of time. And in that time, I've just done a lot of reading up on it and studying. And almost every study, I have never read anything where food trucks have done anything other than kind of build up a downtown. They're not taking away business necessarily, as bringing people to the other businesses. It seems like most communities that have them, it has a very positive effect on the revenues and then bringing people downtown. So that's why I'll be supporting this. If we don't support it, which I'm also okay with, but I think that it again needs to be addressed, because every time we take a food truck application and then reject it, I think that's saying something. I think that we should either have a program or not have a program, not just reject every proposal that comes our way. I think it makes us look really bad, frankly.
Thank you, Luke. And then Jeff, please.
I appreciate entrepreneurship at every level, and I greatly appreciate situations like this where we have someone willing to venture a new venture. Having helped draft the concessionaire's license several years ago, I'm in full favor of seeing this happen. Every analysis that I've done leading up to submitting the requirements to the city indicated that it creates a cluster effect, similar to when you think about where to go get furniture or where to go get your next automobile. You think about the areas in which those things occur all at the same time to cluster shop. Being able to do that in a concentrated area or in an area where maybe there's a concentration of people makes an entire amount of sense. So definitely in support of this.
Thank you, Jeff. And Mayor Stevens, did you wish to offer a comment?
Yeah. I was just actually going to really agree with Luke. I think if we want to have the conversation of whether or not we want to have food trucks in the downtown, that's an okay conversation, but I think we do have the process there. And I agree. If the process is there, if the intent behind the process is to have food trucks in the downtown, and this one meets all the requirements, I think that it makes sense that not that we are absolutely required to, but I think that, you put the policy in place and then you follow the policy. So, and Chair, to your point, I do agree with you. There could be risks. I don't know if Luke has more information on studies that show that folks, come into the downtown more and it's not taking away from businesses. I'd be happy to read those. I honestly haven't myself. So I'd be interested in that conversation, definitely. But I do think that conversation needs to happen overall rather than in regards to one specific application. So yeah, that's I'm voting yes, but that's my take on it.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Stevens. Michael Kruger.
Yep. Seeing as I'm the lone brick and mortar restaurant on this committee right now, I can appreciate the food truck aspect and what that can bring to a downtown area. Most of the restaurants in this area are not in favor. I could speak, sort of on behalf of a number that I know anyway. Mainly because of the amount of taxes that we do pay for to exist in this town, and I know that there's been issues with restaurants where there's excuse me, like where the food trucks are located, in proximity to other restaurants. However, this area specifically down there by Division, I think is it's a correct area to have something. I don't really have a problem with it in that aspect. But I do agree that it's a larger conversation that needs to be had of whether we want them or whether we don't. And if these guys are applying to have one in an area where we permit it, I don't really see any reason why we should not allow them to do it in that sense. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I think Jim Croom wishes to offer a comment.
Yeah, I just echo all the other comments, and my view is we do have a process here. They met it, and let's give it a whirl and test it out and see what happens. It's a good test case.
Thanks, Jim. Any additional comments? Hearing none, we'll go ahead if we could take a roll call vote on the motion that's been offered by Luke and supported by the mayor.
Dewan,
No?
Croom,
Yes.
Kruger,
No.
Kruger,
No.
Mahanis,
Yes.
Mayor Stevens,
Yes.
Wallline,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Hackney,
Yes.
and Smith.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-2.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to item 7 on our agenda. Is there any unfinished business items? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee reports. We had our Exec and Finance Committee meeting this past week. We had the conversation with regard to the DDA selecting council, and we had quite an extensive conversation. I believe the city council is having a special meeting, is it tonight, Heather? To review retaining a city attorney. And it was the thought from the Exec and Finance Committee that we would allow the council to make their decision, so we wouldn't necessarily impede that decision-making process, because there are firms that have responded to not only being the counsel for the DDA, but also for the city council. And I don't know, Jim, if you want to weigh in additional comments, or George Lahanas, but that essentially was the summary of our present status in reviewing, making a decision on legal.
Sorry, you caught me coughing. Yes, I was going to say tonight is the screening meeting where council will be selecting firms to interview, and then next Thursday they'll be interviewing and hopefully selecting. So your summary was accurate.
So any other comments with regard to that? Hearing none, we'll move on to public policy and market development. Luke?
Yeah, Adam went over kind of some of the things earlier when we were talking about the surveying and all of that. I know a few of us are meeting with the DMB tomorrow virtually to kind of talk to them about ways that we can move forward on a few of those issues. And just how maybe the Market Development Committee can work with the DMB in the future on a few items. And just moving forward on the agenda item regarding online third-party food sources, so like Grubhub, DoorDash, etc., and how we can maybe help combat or at least make people, students, citizens more aware of their options without having to go through third-party options.
Thank you, Luke. We also had a project and infrastructure meeting. Many of the items were items that we addressed in our present meeting, which has been summarized in our packet. What about we'll move on to item 9.1, the parking task force. Luke?
We have not met.
Okay, and Jim, Downtown Management Board?
Yeah, we met several weeks ago. General discussions on the joint campaign with MSU, stay safe together, stay open, and the success of that. Also discussed positively the extended use of rights of way to facilitate commercial business in the area. We had endorsed an agreement with a company called Coupon that is offering a 50% discount for ads. They circulate ads, I believe, by mail throughout the area. And so businesses are aware of that opportunity. As Luke already mentioned, there is a meeting tomorrow where the Business Relations Committee is going to discuss further ways to help get downtown reopened. If you recall, the DDA pledged money, financial support to the DMB to implement programs to attract folks to downtown. We were discussing and will continue to discuss ways to move forward on that with the university's announcement coming recently. That sort of changed the focus of what might be happening downtown. So we're not going back to the drawing board entirely, but we need to discuss at the committee level and then the overall level ways that we might continue our efforts to attract business. One of the discussion items is, do we go with the public relations firm again to help us sort of figure out a blend between educating folks to come downtown, that it's safe, that it's a welcoming environment, and also to attract them somehow. So how you blend that combination, and do we need professional help on that? It's a very important question for the businesses. And finally, the staff is doing a survey of businesses to get their viewpoints on all these things, how that money might best be expended to the advantages of businesses downtown. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate that background. Are there any board member announcements? I have one that I'd like to offer. You know, the city of East Lansing lost a real leader here recently. David Kraus passed away. He served on the Downtown Development Authority board, and I can really think of no other individual that has had such a significant contribution to the fabric of our entire downtown, with all the various development projects that he has been involved with over the years. A multitude that really the city has been the beneficiary of his handiwork. So I just want to publicly acknowledge his tremendous contributions to our community, and we offer our condolences to his family, and certainly respect his legacy and the bar that he set for all of us as we advance forward to try and do good things in our community. So I just want to offer that. Are there any other board member announcements? Hearing none, I offer a motion to adjourn and ask for a second.
Second, Luke
Been
Agnew.
seconded by Luke. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Now, Heather, we have the Brownfield Authority meeting. Can we take maybe just a 5-minute break in between these meetings?
We would
And-
ask that you take 10 minutes to make sure that we don't run into any problems.
So it is now 10 after 1. We will convene the Brownfield Authority at 1:20.
Yes,
Then we go in via the separate link. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.